Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 33 of my G-Senjou no Maou, or the Devil on G-String Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. Last episode, we found out that Maou is being a little less metaphorical and a little more literal about the murderer called Mephistopheles. Also, now Canon apparently lives with us, much to our chagrin. As readers, Kyosuke doesn't seem to mind that much. She did put on an impressive show for her short program, and I like the music choice at least. So, yay. Also, Usami met a strange man on the pier last night. He seemed a bit suspicious. Anyways, please enjoy this next episode. Megalipses. Ellipses.
Whew, I'm back.
Good, now go away.
For an athlete, you sure do walk slow. It's been almost an hour since the tournament ended for the day.
I talked a bit with Coach, made some performance touch-ups, and had to do an interview. That's why I'm late.
She had a blank look on her face as she threw her bags on the sofa.
Nissan, what are you doing? You smell like fish.
I'm cooking. And yes, it is fish. I must have a truly impoverished nature. I bought 10 sori from the supermarket just because they were on sale.
Nanchan already ate.
But I didn't, bitch. I'm gonna eat.
Who said it was for you?
That's all right. We'll eat it tomorrow then. As for the rest, I'll give it to Sabaki. She lives close by after all.
I miss seeing Tsubaki.
I made some coffee while talking to Canon, who was lazily stretched out on the sofa. Today was amazing.
What was?
You were.
My performance? Really?
She zoned out for a little bit. You took first place effortlessly. There were a full 20 points between you and that Russian in the second place.
Really? Not bad, I guess.
She doesn't seem to have any interest in her opponents. What are your thoughts on today, then?
Yes. I can't be satisfied with just this, so I'll keep working hard.
That's just a line you memorized for the cameras.
It's really what I think. The NHK trophy might attract foreign skaters, but they aren't the strongest in the world.
What? It was a piece of cake for you because you were only up against small fries?
I didn't go in with that thought, but that's pretty much how it turned out.
Because she said it so innocently, it didn't even sound offensive.
Nanchan wants to be number one in the world.
Right.
Top, winner, number one, strongest, king. I love words like that.
I understand. Then I pointed to the sofa cover that Kenan had wrinkled up when I wasn't paying attention. I understand. So fix that.
Don't wanna. It's gonna get wrinkled again anyhow.
Then just don't wrinkle it up in the first place. Reflect on it, and make sure that you don't do it again.
Kings don't reflect on things.
I hope they do.
You're not a king yet.
I could never win against you.
She reluctantly straightened up the cover. Do you want to take a bath? The water's ready.
You're so thoughtful. I knew it was the right choice to stay with you, Nissan.
Yes, and then I can murder you in your bath. Like a certain psycho movie.
Me.
What do you mean? Surely Akuko-san heated up the water for you, too.
Yeah, definitely. She always thinks of me.
Ellipses.
You're her child.
A glimmer of loneliness shone in Canon's eyes.
But Coach only thinks about making Nanchan number one in the world. She never goes against me.
She lowered her head and stared at the empty floor. I remembered the thing that had bothered me and asked about it. Well, about your program for the free skate tomorrow. It doesn't really seem like it's your style. So why? For an instant, Canon pursed her lips in hesitation. Cannon hesitating about something? This must be big.
I don't know. I think Coach asked Mr. Hilton for it. But I don't know why.
I didn't ask Cannon, who still called Ikoko-san Coach, anything else.
Alright, let's sleep together.
I'm not sleeping.
Nanchan can't sleep without hugging something.
Here's a pillow. Don't act so bratty. You know we shouldn't be doing stuff like that.
It's fine, no one's watching.
It's fine. No one's watching me murder this person.
For Christ's sakes, what am I supposed to do with this girl?
Say no.
The shadow floating behind her smile is bugging me a bit. Oh well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to stay by her side until she falls asleep. Fine, I get it. But I'm nocturnal, so I'll be reading on the bed.
Thanks, I'll fall asleep in 5 seconds.
Hurry up and take your bath.
Yes, sir.
She saluted and went to the changing room with light steps. Jeez. I sat on the chair in the study and stretched lazily. Cannon should be able to win easily tomorrow. So, there will be another victim. Thinking about that made me depressed. Even so, I don't have any methods at my disposal to do anything about it. I don't. Ugh. What the hell? I'm getting dizzy again. It's probably because of Akimoto's big mouth. Damn it. Megalipses. Ellipses. Ellipses. Megalipses. Whew. Even so. This is outside of my calculations. To think that Usami had already come into contact with Mephistopheles. Why did Usami appear on that dock tonight? Usami is in contact with Izai Gonzo, so she should have a list of possible victims. People who are affiliated with Cannon, be it through school, skating, blood relation. Even if the list was filtered through, there should have been more than 10 people. And from that, to correctly pinpoint that German ballet dancer as the target, Michael Jurgmond does indeed live near the Western District port. Maybe Usami and the rest were watching his house and discovered Mephistopheles acting suspiciously on the boardwalk. Why? Is it just a coincidence? Extremely good luck? If it wasn't, then I'd have to admit that I underestimated Usami. I let loose a sardonic laugh. I don't get it. Along with the sound of the shower starting, a person's voice came from the bathroom.
There's no towel.
It said, "What a cheeky woman. I'll prepare one right away." I look forward to tomorrow. I'll have Usami show me her skills so I can see just how good she really is.
Nissan, you look sleepy.
Yet you're so full of energy. The next morning, I walked Cannon to the building entrance. After a while, a high-class foreign car drove up and approached the curb.
Good morning, Keisuke-kun.
Ikuko-san slowly emerged from the left-hand driver's seat. Good morning. Nice car.
You think so? It's already 2 models old.
Even so, I'm sure she could afford to buy 3 family cars.
What is up with people and wearing tiny shorts in the cold?
Well,
You're wearing a scarf. Put shorts, put pants on.
to be fair, she is a skater. She is probably used to the cold.
I don't care. You're wearing a scarf. Put pants on.
Yeah, but she is usually in a swimsuit. In the cold.
You're wearing a scarf.
She probably is wearing the scarf because she...
You look like...
She's probably wearing the scarf because she
You
thinks it
look
looks
like
cute.
a dumbass. My boobs are cold, but my legs are fine. No, put pants on. People who wear scarves and shorts. Like coats and these little tiny skirts. Like, You look dumb. That's what it looks like. My boobs are cold, but my legs are fine. I mean, those can just fall off. I don't care.
Maybe those are flesh-toned stockings she's wearing?
Flesh tone leggings. I'll go with that.
Bye-bye, Nisa. I'm leaving.
Cannon ducked into the back seat with enthusiasm. Nobody sat in the passenger seat.
I'm very sorry. I planned to call you about it, but I got caught up in work.
It's okay. She was talking about Cannon.
Did she say anything?
No, nothing in particular.
She didn't talk about me behind my back?
The strange smile she developed over the years surfaced. I couldn't distinguish between her sincerity and sarcasm. No, she just said she was going to do her best and set her sights on the World Championships.
Never mind then.
She put her hand against her sagging cheeks suggestively.
Sagging? She looks fine.
Or maybe it's the other cheeks. I don't know.
Well, suggestively.
Yeah, true. Speaking of the World Championships, she was an Olympic athlete in the past.
Kenna can be quite spoiled sometimes, but I'm sure you already knew that. Isn't it rough?
Eh,
Still, you can't deny that it's cute, can you? I can.
I felt only unrest. Oblivious to the reason behind it, I knew only that I wouldn't be able to continue a conversation with this person.
Can we leave already?
Yes, please go.
Oh, shut up. They're having a conversation. Be polite. But yes, you can leave anytime.
Her complaint gets her out of our vicinity sooner.
Well, I mean, she could just stick her head back in the window and warm up her legs and be silent, and that gets her out of my vicinity.
Cannon popped her head out the window. She bore a very unamused look on her face. No, maybe it's just my imagination. She just rarely looks so expressionless.
Call me if anything comes up.
Does she know her life's at risk? Ikuko-san nodded slightly before getting into the car. After a quiet ignition, the car drove off, followed by a black limo. In the limo behind Ikuko-san's car sat two huge muscle men. They're probably Gonzo's men, here to protect Ikuko-san. However, what will happen when they get to the arena? What will happen when they enter areas only official tournament personnel are allowed to enter? Will you say no to two Arnolds? Even Yakuza would be thrown out of there. I would like to see them try. This opportunity may be the one Maou is intending to exploit. I got a phone call. It's Gonzo.
Yeah, but would someone who is actually personnel be in there to actually kill someone in there knowing that they are on a very short suspect list, depending on where they are?
This is Kyosuke.
What happened to Usami?
Oh, I haven't seen her since last time.
Bring her here, right away.
The line cut right after he finished. What's this new development? I rolled my eyes and clicked my tongue as I dialed Usami's number.
Usami here.
She picked up the phone after only one ring. Good to hear you're as disgusting as ever. What are you up to right now?
I'm in a French cafe. Just ordered a cup of cafe.
Quit bluffing.
It's true. I'm even reading the newspaper. Cannon made it to the headlines.
Usami wasn't in the arena yesterday.
They're calling her the Valkyrie of the Ice.
You should go see it in person at least once. It's incredibly intoxicating.
Excuse me for a second.
Suddenly I heard some sort of rustling noise. What? What are you doing? However, there was no response. If I listened carefully, I could hear the weak sound of country music in the background. She really was in a shop somewhere. Hello?
So what's the matter?
I decided to cut to the chase. Gonzo wants you. Come quickly. That could be taken out of context.
Yeah. Seriously?
She seemed to sink into deep consideration.
Understood. I'm on Central Boulevard right now.
I'll come to meet you then. I'll call you back when I'm almost there. After Usami agreed, I started walking. The day was especially warm. I met Usami shortly after calling her out. What are you doing out here anyway?
What do you think? I'm tailing someone.
Tailing? Who?
I can't really say yet. He's suspicious, but if he's clean, then I'd just be causing trouble for him.
Suspicious how?
I met him yesterday. I still can't be sure that it's related to this case, though. Hard to say.
She glanced behind her. Save the details until we meet with Gonzo.
By any chance, am I going to be killed if I haven't made any progress?
It's possible.
What?
Usami's face suddenly tensed. Her eyes widened as she stared at something behind me. What's wrong? I turned my head around, and a tall woman stood behind me. Her lustrous coat was strangely vivid under the winter sun. A faint smile was plastered on her face as she looked at us. The woman slowly approached Usami and me. Her soft, straight, black hair shone brilliantly under the sunlight. What the? I asked Usami behind me.
Ellipses.
Hey, Usami?
Ellipses.
She was entirely speechless. Could the suspicious person Usami spoke of be... Finally, the woman spoke.
How's it been, Haru?
I turned back to Usami without thinking.
Ellipses. It's Yuki!
Usami broke into a dash. She moves incredibly fast. I was shocked by the scene, and she vanished into the crowd before I even noticed. Hey! Yuki? My eyes met with the woman named Yuki before I had grasped this situation. As we confronted each other, I noticed that we were around the same height. She had long eyebrows and determined eyes.
But is she in flat shoes?
She had long arms and legs, like Cannon. She wasn't at all like an ordinary Japanese person.
Are you the same height with heels on, or...?
I think she's in flats.
Because most people
I think she is supposed to be
in anime
tall.
tend to wear high heels. I don't know. Well, she'd still be tall. I mean, even in small heels, it'd still be very tall to be around his height, since he's described as tall specifically.
Yeah, but I think she is supposed to be really tall too. Well, at least by Japanese standards. The black suitcase in her hands conjured images of an able businesswoman in my mind.
Good afternoon. I'm Tokido Yuki. And you are?
This woman, capable of unnerving even the stoic Usami, asked me in a peaceful tone. Kyosuke, Azai Kyosuke, you would be?
FBI.
Eep. What?
Well.
While I wondered, aghast, if she was really telling me the truth, her next question rushed in.
Now, serious question. I've always wanted to ask the FBI this. Does the X-Files division actually exist? So you're Haru's lover, then?
Don't freak me out like that. I'm just an acquaintance of hers. Takita smiled and opened the suitcase.
This is how you can contact me.
She handed me a business card.
Tell Haru that I still have my eyes set on her. You shouldn't be creeping on underage girls.
An evil glow sparkled in her eyes.
Bye. Meet again sometime.
She left after saying her piece. And then there was me, still puzzled, and not a step away from where I was when she came in. Eyes set? An acquaintance of Usami's?
Azai-san, keep her away from me.
Oh, you're back. She was gasping for air.
Did Yuki say anything?
Not really, only that she had her eyes set on you. Who is that woman? She's incredibly beautiful. She is?
Yeah, she's quite attractive.
I can honestly say I didn't know.
Her eyes were quite pretty, cobalt. It was nice.
Usami shook her head with no signs of stopping.
A friend of mine.
You mean you've really had friends before? If she's a friend of Usami's, then chances are that she's a weirdo.
I want to call friend into question because you skedaddled.
Speaking of which, what does it mean when you say you have your eyes set on a friend? Either that, or she was embarrassed about being caught out with a guy.
I don't know,
the girl
but...
that may be crushing on her.
I don't know, but she had them blurred legs going on. The only things Yuki's eyes are set on are my sweater puppies.
Sweater puppies? Oh, your boobs. I'd never noticed before, but Usami's boobs were bigger than those of some pin-up models.
Yeah, talking about him does kind of leave the eye there.
Anyway, here's her contact information.
She told me to call.
Are you that against it?
Who knows what she says in private? It's all Yuki's fault that my sweater puppies are like this now. What?
Think the theory that breast grows when you rub them is merely an urban legend.
What?
Well then, I guess I can just pretend that I lost it.
Oh my god.
I didn't feel like dealing with this anymore.
We've got a stalker molester going on with, like... Jesus Christ.
Who is a member of the FBI.
Good lord.
On the plus side, the FBI has no jurisdiction here.
Yeah, but... Good god, listen to this music. No, wait, lies don't work on Yuki.
Huh?
This is turning out to be a nightmare. My Sherlock molester is here.
I think this is the first time I've seen Usami panicked into a sweat. Megallipses. Ellipses.
She must die in the summer.
Hmm?
All that hair?
Even amongst those as odd as Usami, everyone shows reverence when in the presence of Gonzo. The blabbering idiot from a moment ago was nowhere to be seen. With a stern look on her face, Haru sat opposite of Gonzo.
As the threat letter said, someone will die tonight at 9. Do you have any leads?
About that.
Speak clearly.
Very well. Please take a look at this.
She took the threat letter from last time out of her bag as she spoke. What am I looking at?
The envelope.
Usami flipped the empty envelope over and placed it on the desk. What about it? On top of it was what seemed to be a black pencil smudge.
There was a scratch there that grabbed my attention.
You thought it could be traces of words?
Yes. Forgive my impudence, but I adopted the ways of the police we usually see on TV.
You should give that up now. You'll just end up destroying what little evidence might have been there. Normally one would.
Something seemed to have come up in Gonzo's mind as his expression steepened.
Did you get anything?
A mysterious word.
We all looked carefully. On the back of the envelope was the word North, and a certain distance away, the letters HTS.
It's North and HTS. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
What does this mean?
Maou may have placed a piece of paper on top of the envelope and written something on it.
What could he have written? Usami shook her head.
Gonzo-san, what do you think?
Gonzo narrowed his eyes slightly and answered.
The location of the last murder.
Why do you say that?
Northern Heights. It's the apartment complex in the Northern District where the dead designer lived.
I came to the same conclusion. That gives me confidence.
The next bit should be Saito. That's the designer's name.
So it's the murder target and his address. There seems to be more.
Right, this one here.
The character for Ko, as in the word Kodomo. Child, right?
Yes, probably.
If you look at it carefully, it seems to be written right next to Saito. It looks like they're in the same column or something.
I see. You noticed it too. I believe this person must be the next target.
I immediately ran through the list of people associated with Canon. A name containing the characters for Ko. Noriko? Is Miss Noriko? The female teacher that Aichi was once smitten with.
Her or the retired skater Yoshida Kimiko, who was very close to Ken.
According to our sources, she opened a cafe no more than 10 minutes away from the arena when she retired. Most of the customers were the skaters, so the shop was very lively.
Don't forget Ikuko.
Gonzo spoke blankly. and without emotion, despite it being the name of his ex-lover. One of these three is going to be murdered.
Right. Or at least, that's what Mao's threat claims.
If you intend to lend your ears and heed my warning, force her to throw the upcoming NHK trophy. Otherwise, a new sacrifice will be taken at 9 o'clock, the night of the last day. There's no doubt Cannon's going to win. If that happens, tonight at 9, Maou might already be preparing for the whole operation. Any other leads?
There's still this one.
Usami's finger pointed to the clearly visible prints of once written characters. The P's might be saying paper. Or wait, there's an L.A. Population?
It's a B, not an L. It's the word bag. This is paper. Paper bag.
Paper bag? What on earth does that mean?
Then there's the number written besides the word paper bag.
5?
There's something in front of the 5. Is it another number? Looks to me like it is.
So, what does it mean?
No clue, but in the current situation, we can assume it to be...
a seat number in the arena.
That was my first thought as well. Today is the ladies' free skate. The arena is going to get very hectic. It will be a difficult task to protect Yuki-san.
Definitely. If his target is Ikuko-san, this number might be where he's seated in the arena.
But it could be the number 5, or number 25, or maybe number 56, and we wouldn't know.
There are also Latin letters ranging from A to K in front of the numbers. If the deadline's 9 o'clock, would there be enough time to take a look at all the seats in the chaotic arena? Before I'd noticed, the sunlight shining into the room had become brighter. It's probably about 2 in the afternoon. A voice came from outside. "Pardon the interruption!"
Oribe?
The man entered the room with his head down. "Well, if it isn't the young master! It's been a while, hasn't it, son?" Oribe, the underboss, is the one calling me the young master and son. He's the second most powerful member of the Sonoyama group, behind Gonzo. An abusive, sadistic glow always shone in his flat eyes. "I got the 30 men you wanted, boss."
Good work.
"They're ready when you are." Gonzo nodded as Horiba's report ended. Horiba bowed and left.
The men are assembled.
Well, this is Gonzo. He always has the matter already taken care of. He had already prepared a unit that could move freely.
Still, we'll probably only be able to get 10 men into the arena at most.
Being able to get your hands on 10 tickets on the spot is already plenty impressive.
This is Gonzo, after all. He probably plans to make the scalpers cough them up.
The rest of the men will guard the entrances to the arena. Pay particular attention to the step entrance Ikuko uses. Usami and Kyosuke, you two are to go search the seats together with the men inside.
Understood. Usami nodded quickly.
Tell me what Maou looks like from behind.
Very well. Rather tall, like his eyes say. His hair wasn't in a style that would leave any impressions. I haven't seen his face clearly, but I remember that his bangs were quite long. As for clothes, of course I'm referring to his clothes when I saw him. A black coat you could find anywhere, the type of suit that a normal office worker would wear.
Went out of his way, did he?
You mean he went out of his way to blend in with the crowd?
Fine. But if we focus on chasing Maou, we might walk into a trap.
You're absolutely right.
I see. There might be an accomplice.
Yes. Maou wrote the next target's name on, presumably, a piece of paper atop the envelope. This may be a memo to himself.
Or perhaps you're saying it could be an instruction to an accomplice? In the threat letter Maou sent, he writes that he released a murderer called Mephistopheles into the wild.
However, no matter what,
Usami furrowed her brows again. Usami, speaking of which, who are you tailing today?
Oh, right, about that.
What?
Usami cleared her throat and said,
The thing is, I saw a suspicious person yesterday.
When? Where?
The port in the Western District, near the warehouses. It's already late at night. I saw him kneeling on the docks. He was facing the sea. He stared at the dark waters the whole time, so I thought he was going to commit suicide. I called to him. It seemed to give him quite a shock.
He might have taken you for a ghost.
I'd say he was probably around 30. Looked like he hadn't shaved in a while.
So, just what about him was suspicious?
There was a trail of blood leading from the sea to the man's feet.
Blood, huh?
He had nothing to say about the blood. However, there were signs that something which used to be on the ground was taken away. I investigated afterward, and there was a clean spot in the middle of the trail of blood.
And that something was...
Not sure. Could have been a card. Should be a rectangular object. That's based, of course, on the shape of the clean spot it left.
But that doesn't necessarily mean the man took it, does it?
No. However, the thumb he used to hold the flashlight was painted a little red. It would be natural to assume that he picked up the bloodstained card.
What precise observations?
He claimed to be out for a jog, but that was probably a lie too.
Yeah, it was a handheld flashlight, right? Would anyone jog carrying something like that? In the dark? Probably a good idea, so you don't run into something.
Yeah, but you could get something that wouldn't... because when you jog, your hands move constantly.
Yeah, get a headlamp or something.
Or something that clips to your belt or something. I think something happened that night that he didn't want anyone else to know about.
Gonzo, who had been silently watching our interchange, finally said,
Let me ask you something, Usami. Why were you there?
Good question. Did she find a lead or something?
A ballet dancer on the list lived near there, right?
Michael Jugmund, I think.
Every time I see his last name, I think
Yeah.
Jormungandr, and it's... No, that's not that. Jormungand. My bad. That's not it. Oh, no.
Did you go there to meet him?
Just in case, I went to pay him a visit. There was nobody home. According to the information we have in our hands, this man should have returned to his home country 2 months ago.
Not to interrupt, but wouldn't that mean the dancer is safe?
I hope that's the case.
Gonzo was still staring at Usami.
As for that suspicious man, I trailed him from last night to this morning.
From what I'm hearing, this doesn't seem to be related to the threat letter.
Yeah. I don't have any definitive proof or anything.
I tilted my head.
But when I said Jugmund-san's name, he seemed to show some interest.
Interest? I may not know of him, but isn't he a pretty famous dancer?
No. This man didn't even know Fujiwara Norika, so I don't think he'd know Mr. Jugmund.
Huh?
He asked me for my name, so I answered with the name of a celebrity I like.
You really have a way of getting things done.
Turned out he didn't react at all. At the time, I thought that I had made a really bad gag, and I wanted to die. But when I looked at his face, it seemed like he really didn't know of her.
Well, normally one would probably assume it to be a fake name.
Well, I guess you could say I'm grasping at straws here.
Did you find out the man's address?
No. He stayed at a bar on Central Boulevard and drank until morning. He showed no sign of going home.
I get it. If he can stay that long at the bar, then he must be a regular customer.
Yes. We can follow him any time now that we know about the bar.
I understand. That man must have something to do with this incident, so I'll send someone to tail him.
Well, that'll be all then. We've already finished saying what we need to. I bowed to Gonzo and turned around, prepared to leave.
It doesn't matter if Ikuko is killed.
Pardon? I looked back in surprise at Gonzo's emotionless words.
The most important thing is to catch the rat.
We're not the police. We don't place the safety of citizens as our first priority.
That woman is already a very unneeded existence to canon. If anything, she'll become a hindrance.
What a truly heartless man. I couldn't even imagine him having a close relationship with Ukuko-san in the past. You know what? Neither can I, really. Unless it was like Kyosuke and Tsubaki at the very beginning.
Then again, considering...
where he was just trying to use her.
How about to say, considering what we think of as close relations and what he probably thinks of as close relations, I doubt they are the same thing.
Suddenly, I thought of my mother. It is the very Azai Gonzo before me that pushed my mother into the abyss of poverty. He's a demon. And as for me, the boy forced to serve the demon, I will drown in an indispersible despair. One day, with my own hands, Gonzo.
Azai-san, is something wrong?
No, nothing. We left Gonzo's house.
When you think about it, this house's security is really tight. There are some pretty windows.
As Usami pointed out, there are always groups of people patrolling the house. One stationed at the front, 3 in the garden, and each one of them carrying a different weapon.
Should have guessed though, Yakuza boss is an irreplaceable person.
Well, I have a feeling Horibe would happily replace Gonzo.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be half as good at it. It's not to say a Yakuza boss is hard to replace, it's that a good Yakuza boss is hard to replace.
That aside, I'm impressed by how much you found.
I just hope Gonzo-san didn't take me for a useless piece of junk. Oh, he'd find some use for you.
Like selling her into prostitution?
You'd be okay, I think, though. I mean, your hair would scare off most suitors.
Everything's someone's fetish.
Just put wires in it and make it wiggle at them.
As I said, everything is someone's fetish.
This is true, actually.
You concentrated on the envelope rather than the letter. That already proves you're smart enough.
Perhaps. But I'd appreciate it if you'd stop flattering me.
She looked somehow displeased. It's about time. Should we call a cab?
It'd be faster by subway.
We left swiftly for the subway station. Megalipses. Ellipses. So, son, is that girl over there your bitch? Horibe asked me with a smile. It was already 3 in the afternoon. We met Horibe inside the arena. Me, Usami, Horibe, and 5 of his men were there. They didn't really look all that bad. Their builds and facial features were fairly typical. They could pass for average citizens to a quick glance.
Azai-san, I'm being called a bitch.
I see your mouth is as foul as ever, Horibe. Oh, was I wrong? Sorry about that. Horibe narrowed his thin eyes even more, awaiting my orders. Alright, let's split up. We need to search all seats that contain the number 5. No matter if it's 35 or 52, search it. If you spot any suspicious people, call me right away, okay? This guy Mao's a tall young man, correct? Yes, but we might be dealing with a different agent this time. Which means you want the guys to check out anyone in a seat that has the number 5. The first thing to check would be that the name of the person and the name on the ticket match. The popularity of figure skating is very high, so tonight's tickets were sold out moments after they opened the box office. Mao's probably got the tickets through an internet auction or something like that. So, all we gotta do is round up a couple suspicious shits and ask them questions about Mao or the letter. You know, the sort of questions that only our men would understand? Then we see how they react. Horibe might be a sinister man, but one can't hold on to the number 2 spot in Gonzo's organization without also bearing a cunning mind. This might take a while. Still, I hope that everyone can lay low. Try not to cause any trouble. Got it. We wouldn't want to disrupt Little Miss Cannon's big event.
Or maybe,
Usami spoke.
even if the seat's empty, could you still take a look? Check to see if anything suspicious is placed under the seat.
You mean, like a paper bag? Usami shook her head.
The number 5 might not even have anything to do with the seat number.
But it's still a lot better than just letting this play through. And, realistically, we can pretty much be sure that Ikuko-san is the target.
You've got a point. Well then, let's move.
Horibe shouted, and his men scattered.
That cockroaches. Azai-san?
Hmm?
You don't look so well. Are you okay?
Yeah, I was just up with Cannon until late last night. I can't even walk straight.
Oh my god. I see. Please don't push yourself too hard.
Usami left me with the words,
I'll call you when I find something.
and vanished around the corner of the corridor.